As the AU plummeted towards the Earth, Camille got his first taste of Earth's gravity. Spacenoids were regularly flummoxed by the pull of Earth's gravity, and while the more accomplished pilots would have no issue with it after a little time to acclimate, Camille was an easy target for incoming Federation fire. If Rekkoa had gotten her message out, she would have waved the AU off of attacking. However, since she was trapped in the brig with Kai Shiden, there was little chance of that. The fortified base had missiles primed and ready, and mobile suit units prepped to scramble. The AU mobile suits were higher tech with the newest equipment. The Federation was fielding majority one-year war units, specifically Goof flight types equipped with bazookas, and used traditional fighter jets against the first wave. It was antiquated but sensible because mobile suits were not nearly so agile in the air as in space, though the weaponry of the mobile suits did enough to shoo them away. The Titans followed the AU soon after, Jared at the front. Believing he had the advantage in Earth's gravity, he gave chase to Camille. Camille would meet up with Quattro. The incoming fire seemed too light for Quattro's taste, making him think the base was abandoned. He was only partially correct. The Federation forces were in the midst of moving out. Camille, sensing Rekkoa, went to find her, but Jared intervened once again, and the two continued their nearly endless duel. Intending to knock out the AUG entirely, the Federation set a nuclear weapon at their base, hoping to goad them into attacking and then destroy them utterly. This forced Quattro to rebuild their plan of escape. The AUG was not able to return their pilots to space because of the shortage of time and lack of available gear. His solution was to take Federation officers hostage and start the evacuation. He also found that Bright Noah's family was not there, fulfilling his earlier promise. Camille, still searching for Rekkoa, still hadn't reached the evacuation point, and Quattro went to hunt for him. Finding both the missing pilot and the two missing spies, the two began a desperate escape against a ticking clock. The Titans were perfectly happy sacrificing their own troops as Jared punched his way into an escape shuttle. After fighting off a reaction force, Camille and Quattro were able to escape just as a nuke went off. Cursing the Federation for their continuous destruction of Earth, the escaping Garuda craft meet up with Karaba, a resistance movement led by one Hayato Kobayashi. Thus ended the Second Battle of Jeburo, and the Federation made certain that there would not be another. But now the AUG was trapped on Earth with no easy way to get back to space. At his Federation-supplied home, Amuro Ray is surprised by Frau Bo, now Frau Kobayashi. Katsurats and Kika, now grown up from their days on the White Base, have followed along, Frau and Hayato having adopted them as their own. Here, Amuro reveals his state of constant surveillance, and his inability to be free of the Federation forces due to his piloting days. Katz, impetuous as ever, was far from convinced. The hot-blooded young man expected him to spring back into action, but the hero of the Federation was not the warfighter he used to be. Hayato, after helping the AU land, goes to the Karaba Command Center at his Space Museum at Kennedy Spaceport. He had stored his old gun cannon unit there, among other things, though he lamented not being able to catch Kai before he ran off. Once at his desk, he received a letter from the Spy Master, revealing that Kai believed Quattro to be none other than Char Aznavour, the dreaded ace pilot, and their mutual enemy from the One-Year War. Because of this, Kai won't work with him, and had ran off already. Hayato asks Quattro point blank, but Quattro refuses to answer. Kai believes that Char has leadership capabilities, and should be taking a more active role in command. At this point, the only person fooled seems to be Quattro, and the situation causes Camille to lash out, cold-cocking his commander. In spite of all this, the AUG forces have a plan in place to escape. Using two old-style shuttles, they plan to rendezvous with the Argama in orbit, but their launch window is a mere 40 minutes. Little did they know that one of the new units the Titans were testing, the Ashamar, was on the way in. Suddenly, Quattro's identity is of less importance, as one of the shuttles is destroyed by the Titans. Now confronted with the Ashamar with a squad of Hyzax in tow, Roberto, Camille, and Quattro take to the field to defend the shuttle and its pilots. The Ashamar, an oversized transforming mobile suit, was a next-generation unit that was similar to a fighter jet in the atmosphere, with the ability to transform for more hand-to-hand conflicts. As the first mobile suit to be able to fly entirely under its own power in the atmosphere, its design reflected the need for streamlining, down to the large beam rifle it carried underslung on the hull while in flight. It functioned similarly to a traditional fighter jet in this mode, strafing and peeling off from ground targets. Ordinary mobile suits could not give chase effectively against it in the atmosphere. The Ashamar could operate in flight mode for extended periods of time, and could transform in a mere half of a second due to its simplified design. They would continue to field the unit throughout the Crypt's conflict on Earth. The Ashamar struck down Roberto as a tearful Opali launched into space. The Hakushiki and Mark II gave chase, banking on the Ashamar's flight ceiling to bring it back down towards Earth. Accurately enough, Quattro lured it in, and Camille, reacting in the scant tenths of seconds necessary, sunk a shot into his chest as it transformed. The Ashamar retreated as the Adhumla prepared to move to its next destination, working its way across the continent. The operation concluded, and now old faces had appeared to make the Federation's life miserable. But the Titans were still on the way in to try and complicate matters as the AU tried to get off planet. And next time, we will see which old faces join the fray.